Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, I'm Queen Bee Tarot, and I'm excited to do this reading for you today. We are doing a pick-a-pile reading all about love and relationships. The first cards that I have picked out here are from the Osho Zen deck and the Psychic Tarot. And we're gonna start out by asking, where are you at and what are you hoping to manifest? And then as we get into the reading, we're gonna pull some more cards looking at how are you helping to manifest that? How are you potentially sabotaging that? And what does the future hold for you as far as love and relationships? I'm excited. Are you guys ready? Let me show you the piles that we have set up for you today. Pile number 1 is a Malachite stone. Pile number 2 is a Raw Garnet. Pile number 3 is Quartz. And pile number 4 is Lapis Lazuli. I'll show you those again. Pile number 1 is Malachite. Pile number 2 is a Raw Garnet. Pile number 3 is Quartz. And pile number 4 is Lapis Lazuli. So go ahead and pick whichever pile you feel most drawn to. The timestamps are going to be below in the description box. You can click on the timestamp for your reading, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi Pile 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the Malachite stone, and the first 2 cards that we have for you today, I went ahead and picked. I cleared my mind, I meditated, I got ready for this reading, and where I thought we could start out is a card representing where you're at. This is from the Osho Zen deck, and what you're hoping to manifest, which is represented by the Psychic Tarot. Are you guys ready? So where you guys are at right now, we have the Consciousness card. This is actually a really cool card, and it tells me that you guys have been working really hard on yourselves. You've attained some sort of spiritual leveling up. You've got your head above water. Quite possibly you've spent some time alone, either not in a serious relationship or maybe just kind of dating here and there. But this card definitely implies that the focus for you lately has been working on yourself, which is the most incredible way to prepare yourself for a really healthy relationship. Anything that you've been learning in the past few months, in the past few years, about yourself, about your triggers, about your hopes, about your dreams, it's really important to absorb all of that information that you have learned recently. So I would strongly encourage you to journal, to make notes, and another really awesome thing to do is something that I personally call a magical manifestation wish list. And what we do is we make essentially a thank you note to Spirit, God, the universe, the force, and we say, thank you, universe, for bringing into my life. And then we name everything that we're hoping for. In this case, if you're hoping to manifest a relationship that supports and upholds your mental health, your spiritual health, and your emotional health, because you've worked so hard to get there by yourself, this would be an awesome time to really articulate in a magical manifestation wish list what it is that you bring to the table, what it is that you're hoping for, and that way you can get really clear. If you don't feel like doing a magical manifestation wish list, that's totally fine. But the implication here is definitely, as much as you can, cement all the information, all the realizations that you have had recently, so that you don't forget. And I know it may seem silly, you know, sometimes we have these major life realizations and we think, oh, I'll remember that forever. But you'd be surprised how quickly we forget. So I just want to say congratulations on working so hard to achieve a higher level of consciousness than you've ever had before. Your guides and angels are insanely proud of you right now, so keep it up. Now, from the Psychic Tarot, I asked, what is it you're hoping to manifest? This is actually quite funny. We pulled Temptation, which is the same card as the Devil in the Rider-Waite Tarot. And the reason I say this is funny is because you've worked so hard at elevating your consciousness that there's this part of you that wants to achieve more balance. You want that root chakra activated. You want passion. You want lust. You want a physical connection with someone. So I definitely get the vibe that you've been alone, been single, been uncommitted on some level. Now, if you are currently in a relationship, this combination of cards could possibly indicate that maybe there hasn't been a spark in your relationship for quite some time, and that's what you're craving. Maybe the state of the relationship that you're in right now, if you're in a relationship, has gotten so heady that you've kind of lost that magic with your partner. So it could go either way. If you're single or if you're committed, there's a sense that your higher chakras are really activated and really clear right now. But there's a need for balance. There's a need for activating and clearing the lower chakras as well. So really cool place to start, you guys. From the Golden Art Nouveau deck, we're going to be asking your spirit team, what is it that you're doing to support your highest path of what you're trying to manifest? So spirit team, please tap me into the collective of my pile number ones. We're looking at what are they doing? What do you guys see them doing that is great, that is helping them manifest the love or the relationship or the passion that they're hoping for? What are my pile number ones doing to help manifest that? Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which tells me that you've really grounded yourself out as far as being present in yourself, your awareness, but also in your life. You've learned not to rush things. You've learned to be present, to really, really, really soak up the present moment. Be here now, engaging all of your senses. And it's a very earthy, it's a very grounded energy coming through for you guys. And so when I asked, what is it that you're doing that is helping you manifest your wishes and your desires, we have the Nine of Cups. And this is really, really cool because the 9 represents solo, being solo or doing something solo. And Cups is all about our emotional health. So what you're doing and what you're encouraged to keep doing that's going to really cultivate the love and relationships in your life that you're hoping for is continue filling your own cup. Continue nurturing and enhancing your emotional health. And that's going to take a lot of different forms. That's going to be doing things that you like. That's going to be healing and growing. Maybe you're working with a counselor. Maybe you're just doing your own shadow work. It's also about making sure that you're meeting your own emotional needs, that you've learned to recognize when and where you're responsible for how you feel, right? So again, I get a vibe that either you've been solo for quite some time, or within the relationship that you're in, it almost feels like you're solo. So the Nine of Cups, though, represents emotional fulfillment, feeling absolutely satisfied, like we've won the emotional lottery, like we just feel like we're living our best lives, or at least we've reached a level of satisfaction with where we're at and who we are. It's a lot of self-acceptance here. So really, really good stuff, you guys. Now, in the next deck, the Revelations deck, this is the Reversals deck that shows us kind of two sides of one coin. And the reason I wanted to pull this out is because sometimes when we point the finger outwards and we say, man, that behavior really bothers me, often it represents that there's a lesson in there. That sometimes the things that trigger us the most either point us in a direction of something that we actually personally need to work on, or maybe it's a long-standing trigger due to a wound that we incurred earlier in our lives. So here I wanted to ask about what are we doing to potentially sabotage our love and relationship goals. So Spirit Team, please tap me into the collective of pile number 1 and anything they're doing that might sabotage their goals. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we have the 10 of Cups, which is really interesting because it's almost like this feeling of like, when it comes to love and relationships, you could kind of either take it or leave it. I mean, yeah, it's nice to be loved. It's amazing to be loved. But you feel so good on your own that there's almost this, well, unless somebody is going to be like the perfect person for me, I'm not interested. And you know what? That's actually a good thing. I did ask how you might be sabotaging your efforts at love and relationships. But when I see indications that you've just set your standards really, really high, I don't entirely see that as a sabotage. But let's look at the other cards that we pulled. So the other cards that we pulled are Judgment, which is a lot like leveling up, being reborn, leaving the past behind, and making some really important life-changing decisions that really alter our fate in a positive way. Calling in the good karma, or at least receiving the good karma that we've worked so hard for. Four of Wands is grounded fire. It's learning how to be responsible with your energy. It's turning any extra energy inside of you into something either creative or productive. And I also see indications that your circle has gotten really tight lately. You're no longer interested in wasting your time with like acquaintances or toxic or dramatic people. You're really just kind of sticking to the core crew that you have, people that you know are like ride or die friends, and again, not accepting any less, really raising your standards. However, when I see the Page of Wands here, that tells me that when it comes to your personal expression of fire, there's still an element of immaturity. And so what I see when I look at this is a sense that you talk the talk, but there's still a little bit of work that needs to be done as far as potentially getting yourself fired up about stuff and making a snap decision, closing the door, closing the circle, and perhaps missing out on an opportunity. So sometimes when we believe that we have achieved a level of enlightenment or awareness, and then we hear some sort of contradicting point of view, we might ignore it. We might be like, yeah, whatever, that's not me, or I don't need to hear that, or whatever, I already learned that. But when I see the Page of Wands, there is something that you're still doing that's a wee bit childish. And it has to do with getting like fired up about something. Maybe even though when you're alone, you can be almost like a guru. You can be peaceful and grounded and thoughtful. But when you come into contact with maybe vexatious people, that's when the part of you that's not quite healed yet, that's when that comes out. But I see that the other implications of the Page of Wands and the Four of Wands is that there's almost an element of like only wanting to have fun, that really you've hit this place of being really happy and satisfied with yourself, with your life. And so especially when I tie this into the Temptation card, it really feels like your goal is just to have occasional fun, but not necessarily step into a place of commitment, unless, like I said, you found like literally the perfect person for you. So it's an opportunity to look at when and where are you maybe not giving people a chance, or closing yourself off from the rest of the world, or not growing from challenges because you're so quick to say, oh, whatever, it's the other person's problem. And then, like I said, another aspect of these cards that we pulled could also represent that you're just here for a good time, not for a long time. And that's totally your prerogative. The question that I had posed to your guides and angels is, how are you potentially sabotaging love and relationships? And so the implication of that would be, if you're just here for a good time and not for a long time, then that's not really going to cultivate a deep love or a long-term relationship. But again, if that's not your goal, doesn't have to be, right? This is not entirely bad, honestly, you guys. I do believe that you've reached quite a high level of awareness and consciousness. I think perhaps the final step for you guys is growing through discomfort. How much do you potentially expose yourself to discomfort? Or are you just so carefully crafting your life that no one challenging ever is allowed in? Again, that's totally your prerogative, right? But I'm just going to tell it like I see it. So What I was going to ask here is any additional advice from your guides and angels. We're using the Rider-Waite-Smith deck here. So in love and relationships, what is coming up next for you? Pile number ones. Spirit team, please tap me into the collective of my pile number ones. What is coming up next for them in love and relationships? What is coming up next for my pile number ones in love and relationships? Okay. So what I've got here are indications that sometimes you do actually sabotage your efforts, simply because you have no patience for BS, and there is still a little bit of work to do as far as healing wounds from the past. I'm going to walk you through this. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands on the surface talks about victory and success. We have somebody arriving on horseback and they're being greeted by a cheering crowd. But the core of this card really talks about the energy that we approach a situation with. If we approach a situation with an energy of, well, I'm enlightened and I need to find somebody else who's enlightened, then we kind of have our nose up in the air and we kind of miss out on opportunities to learn or grow because we're not being especially humble in the moment, right? Or if we approach the realm of love and dating from a place of being really jaded and unhealed, then the second that we spy a red flag, we're going to be like, nope, that's it. Not doing it, and shut the door again, right? So I definitely get this energy of your perception is 10 steps ahead of you. It's like when you get into the realm of love and relationships, it's almost like you've already made up your mind, and from that place of having already made up your mind, instead of staying open, you kind of shut the door on finding the right person for you. What I see here with the Nine of Wands is that you are very guarded, and I do want to validate for you, you have absolutely every right to be guarded. That you have worked really, really hard to be in the good place that you are right now. And so if you want to protect your peace and protect your heart, 100%, all the power to you, keep it up, right? Then what I see developing for you, we've got the Seven of Pentacles, which is patience and planning, and the Two of Pentacles, which is movement, choices, and decisions, but also kind of having our hands full, right? Now, what I see is an energy of you pretty much having already made up your mind about possibilities in the future. You're very, very guarded, again, quite resistant to letting anybody into your life, fair point. But then I have the Seven of Pentacles, which gives me a hint that on some level, even though you've kind of blocked it or you're resisting it, on some level you kind of want it to happen. And so this guy in the Seven of Pentacles is looking at this bush that's growing these little pentacles, and the energy is like, well, hurry up and grow. You know, there's patience, but there's also an element of impatience. Like, why is this not happening? Why is this not coming into my life? Why is this not manifesting for me? And then the Two of Pentacles, this guy is juggling two pentacles, and in the background, the waves in the ocean are huge, and it's just tossing these boats around, right? So what I'm seeing here is that as much as in your heart of hearts, you want so much to love and be loved in return, but you are so afraid of being hurt, and you are so afraid of your peace of mind being taken away from you, that you've chosen to fill up your life with other things. That you keep yourself as busy as possible. Maybe your one true love is work right now. I really do see you pouring yourself into a lot of tasks around your physical reality. Whether it's making money, whether it's just filling up your life with a bunch of different activities. Maybe you're focused on building up a business at the same time as working a regular job. Your life is full, your hands are full. And again, I get this energy from you of like, love and relationships, unless it's perfect, I'm not interested. And again, I just want to validate for you, that's absolutely your prerogative. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I do want to be clear that I'm getting this sense that you're kind of projecting into the future it's never going to happen. I'm never going to find the right person. I've been heartbroken in the past. I see it continuing. Why bother? Why bother risking my health, my happiness, my peace of mind, right? So when I see the Three of Swords, that tells me that you've got swords embedded in your heart from previous experiences, and they're still there. And when we see the Three of Swords, known as the Heartbreak card, it's actually not in the suit of cups, which would represent emotions. It's in the suit of swords, which is our headspace, our perspective, our communication. And so that tells me that there's an element of emotional intelligence. There's an element of learning from your past experiences in a way that empowers you. Like, we can take painful experiences and do kind of like, one of two things with them. We can either go, okay, F this, I am never putting myself out there again, whatever. Or we can go, wow, that really sucked. What can I do to learn from that so that I can hopefully avoid it or prevent it in the future, right? So I do see that because there is still swords in your heart, you're quite resistant. And this is a great opportunity for you to do journaling, counseling, shadow work, any kind of therapeutic healing exercise that you feel inspired to do. It needs to be done, because otherwise you're always going to have this fear of relationships. You're always going to be afraid of, well, what if I get hurt again? It's not worth it, right? So I feel you blocking love in a lot of different ways. And then in the end here, I actually see something different. I see you going from the Eight of Swords, which is stuck in a mental prison, to the Ten of Cups, which is lasting, true happiness, in which we have a happy couple, we have children dancing, and a rainbow in the sky, indicating that the storm has passed. So I see that if you can do this healing work, and if you can empower yourself to go, hey, now I recognize red flags, or now I know when to step out of a situation that I'm not comfortable in, or now I know how to set my standards really, really high and not compromise that, right? If you can learn from past experiences, I see the most beautiful happiness for you. But I see two potential outcomes. Either you heal this heartbreak and you achieve happiness because you feel empowered as a result of your healing, or if you don't heal this heartbreak, I see you stuck in a mental prison and never opening yourself up again to love, or at least not until this is healed. The Eight of Swords is a really challenging card, and it comes up more often than not when someone has been in an abusive relationship. Now, it typically does connotate emotional abuse and verbal abuse because it is swords. But when I see the temptation card associated with the devil, there's also a potential implication of physical abuse as well. I want everybody watching to know that abuse is abuse, no matter what. And if someone is constantly putting you down, if someone makes you feel like you're unworthy or unlovable, that's abuse. Abuse takes many, many different forms, but that's a story for another day. When I see the Eight of Swords, it implies two things. Number one, abuse happened in the past. And number two, your abuser is still renting space in your head for free. Lots of times the negative things that we hear in abusive situations end up being down the road our inner dialogue. And then we have this awful, awful voice. Say we think about dating, then our abuser's voice comes into our head and we think, oh, I'm unlovable. Oh, I'm unworthy. Nobody's going to want me. And then we shut the door. So definitely whatever you guys went through, I just want to say my heart goes out to you so much. I feel you. I understand you. And I've been there 100%. Healing is not linear. Healing has no defined finish line or anything like that, but I can tell you that nothing's going to get better unless you embrace the healing. Please remember that you are unconditionally worthy and unconditionally lovable. And if any stupid human out there made you feel otherwise, then that's their problem, their projection, and not the truth of who you are. Spirit, universe, God loves you no matter what. And the way that you were created is absolutely perfect, just the way you are. yeah, we all have flaws and things that we need to work on, but the core of you, is unconditionally lovable and worthy no matter what. So please remember that, okay? So whatever that you went through, like I said, there's two pathways. Either you embrace healing and find your rainbow after the storm, or if you run from that pain, I see you stuck in that pain until you embrace healing. So I do hope that this helped. I hope it pointed you in the right direction. I hope that it gave you the clarity and the insight that you were hoping for today. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to give a thumbs up if you liked your reading today and subscribe for all my future videos. And you can book a private reading with me from anywhere in the world on my website at www.queenbeetarot.net. Have an amazing day. Bye, you guys. Hey guys, welcome to your reading. You chose the Raw Garnet, and we're going to be looking at what's coming up for you guys in the realm of love and relationships. I do have some noisy crows behind me. I hope it doesn't interfere with the sound quality. If it gets too loud, I will pause for a second. So the first two cards that I pre-selected for you guys, eyes closed, I have no idea what they are. We're using the Osho Zen deck to ask about kind of where are you at right now, and the Psychic Tarot to look at what are you hoping to manifest, what are you longing for and trying to bring into your life. So, oh, cool. We have a card that says sharing. And pictured in this card is a woman who is dressed with flowers and a beautiful robe, and she has a platter with grapes and pomegranate and a candle. So you're in a place of sharing love already. You're in a place of being in harmony, not only with yourself, but the world around you. I'm not feeling any big barricades up around your heart. I'm not feeling any challenging aspects at the moment, nothing that's like standing out huge for me. I would say that absolutely you guys are either in a relationship or you are in a place where you're totally ready for a relationship. And when I see this sharing card, it definitely indicates that the reason that you're either in a relationship right now or ready for a relationship is because, like I said, you've reached this place of balance and harmony within yourself. I see you as being a conscious creator. I see you as being grounded and quite healthy in a lot of ways. And it's a very happy card. Not only that, but the candle on her tray here indicates that not only have you found the light inside of yourself, but you would be so happy to share that light with other people. So, like I said, either you're in a relationship right now or you are totally ready to be in one very soon. Now, when I asked about what you're hoping to manifest or bring into your life, sorry about the loud crows, we have the Balance card. Now, the Balance card here is associated with the Justice card in the tarot. And we have someone with all four elements represented here: earth, air, fire, and water. The Justice card is associated with Libra, the scales, one-on-one relationships, and the highest expression of one-on-one relationships, that each person is their own individual, but they come together to add to the quality of life or relieve the burden of the other person, right? It doubles the joy and halves, like takes in half the burdens. That is the ultimate expression of a healthy, balanced relationship. So again, I see you guys in a really, really good place. Your goal is balance and harmony, and I see you ready to manifest that because you are healthy on your inside. The next deck that we're going to be looking at is the Art Nouveau Tarot, this beautiful golden tarot. And we're going to be asking, what are you doing that is helping you get to your goal? What kind of behaviors, mindset, energy is helping you manifest this goal of balance and harmony in your life. So Spirit Team, please tap us into the collective of our pile number 2s. What are they doing that is helping manifest? Oh my goodness. Okay. This card, balance, associated with justice card. Guess what I pulled? The justice card. 11, balance and harmony. We also have temperance, which is consciously co-creating the life that we want, slowly, carefully, and balancing out being grounded, but also being tuned into spirit. And then the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is waiting for our manifestation to come in. It's somebody standing at the top of a cliff and he's staring out into the ocean and he's watching these ships come in. So this is definitely telling me that, you know, some of you have recently done some sort of a love or manifestation spell. Some of you have just simply been vocalizing or articulating to universe, God, spirit, that this is what you want, that you're ready, you know what you want, and you're calling it in. You're calling in your manifestation. Your guides and angels want you to know that you are 110% on the right path, that you're approaching this with the right energy, you're using the right words, right actions, right energy to manifest your desire. Spirit is right there with you, helping you co-create this ultimate manifestation of love and a relationship. And the ultimate result is going to be something balanced and harmonious, because that is the energy that you're putting into it. I am overjoyed for you guys, absolutely. I would definitely say that for the majority of you guys that picked this pile, you're single, but you are calling in a relationship that is going to happen very, very soon. And I see it being the ultimate expression of everything that you've worked so hard to achieve. If you pick this pile and you're in a relationship right now, this tells me that for the most part it's in a good place, but there is a little bit of work to do. When I see these 2 cards that both have the scales in it, that tells me that there's a little bit of imbalance, not huge, but working together with your partner at this time to talk about where things are balanced, where things are imbalanced, and how that can be rectified would be a really, really productive, healthy conversation to have. Sometimes it helps to have a neutral third party, like a couples counselor, kind of walk you through some of these things. But I don't see it being any kind of crisis. It's simply just sorting out some details, sorting out some little things. It doesn't feel like a big thing. Every person that comes into a relationship is going to bring different things to the table. Maybe one person is really good at cooking, and the other person hates cooking but doesn't mind cleaning up afterwards. It's super, super important to have these conversations with your partner or with a future partner, so that you can be really sure about things being balanced and fair. It's not like you have to keep a checklist of everything that you did so that the other person does just as many, but you know what I mean. Just a mature conversation about, hey, I'll take care of this. Do you mind taking care of this? And I also saw a really cool video the other day about partners that constantly throughout the day talk about where they're at. If a partner only has 10% of energy that day, they'll be like, dude, I'm at 10%. And the other partner will be like, hey, okay, I'm at about 60, but no worries. I got you covered. I got your back today. And then, you know, going throughout the day, okay, I'm feeling better. I'm like at a 50. And then the partner who is taking your place is, I'm at a 5 right now. Cool, let's switch. So that's what I see, is that the essence of the scales, balancing things out. It's not going to be perfect balanced, but having that constant communication, having that constant openness with either your current partner or a future partner is going to be absolutely integral to keeping things healthy and keeping things happy. So way to go, you guys. I see that your mental health is improving. You've been working really, really hard. So anything that you manifest really is going to be in your highest good. Just keep trusting your intuition. Keep trusting your gut. You're in the perfect place to see real love when you see it. Does that make sense? Sometimes if we're lost and not healed, we're blind. But what I see is that you guys are crystal clear about who you are and what you're looking for, and that's amazing. So here with the Revelations deck, we are going to be asking if there's anything that you're doing that's sabotaging your efforts. Anything at all that might possibly block or restrict what it is that you're hoping to manifest. Spirit team, please tap us into our pile number 2s. We chose the Garnet stone. Is there any shadow work that they need to be doing right now? Okay, you guys, this is gonna blow your minds, but seriously, 3rd deck in a row, the Justice card. Whoa. So, you know, we were looking at the Justice card as a symbol of balance and equality and healthy give and take. But then when I asked, how are you potentially sabotaging your relationships? When I see the Justice card here, that gives me an opportunity to talk about the flip side of the Justice card. Sometimes the Justice card indicates that we are being too judgmental of either ourselves or the people in our lives. Maybe you're the kind of person that's really, really particular about how you want things done. Maybe you have a really hard time sharing your space as a result. If that's the case, then the healthiest or the most perfect relationship for you might be one in which there's no cohabitation. That each of you has your own healthy place. You come together to share time, and then when you're done sharing time, you go back to your own little safe space. For some people, that is like the ultimate. A lot of people I know actually really like having their own space, especially if you've been alone for quite some time, and you just kind of have your own way of doing things. Sometimes that's the healthiest thing you can do for a relationship. If you don't want to cohabitate, don't cohabitate. But I do see that there's an element of you still being a little bit childish in the expression of your fire. Maybe you've spent so much time alone that you've forgotten how to hold space for people that have contradicting opinions or perspectives. What I see at the bottom of the deck is the 5 of Wands, which is conflict and challenges, but it's like that 2 sides of the same coin where we've got like passion or fighting. I find that this card comes up a lot when we are attracted to intensity. There's something so appealing about intensity, right? I mean, you know, some people love the bad boy, or some people just get really sucked into relationships that are roller coasters, like huge highs and huge lows. And as much as it can be enticing and like lots of adrenaline and lots of excitement, at the same time it's brutally exhausting and definitely not sustainable. So here I see you coming into this being healed, being healthy, looking for balance. But then when I ask how you might be sabotaging it, I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between your ideals and how things actually play out in real life. If conflict management is an issue for you, there's tons of good videos, free information on the internet, on YouTube, about how to be an effective, a clear communicator, how to talk so people will listen, and how to listen so people will talk. And also how to deal with any times of conflict, misunderstandings, things like that. I do feel that you are a bit of a headstrong, determined, fiery kind of person. And so the highest path for you would be to invite into your life someone who's also potentially fiery and headstrong, just so one person is not overpowering the other. But another way to look at that would be, okay, if you're really fiery and headstrong, maybe you need somebody who's more grounded and fluid, and then you guys can learn from each other. But the 5 of Wands tells me that you have this soft spot for intensity, and sometimes that's what distracts you or takes you away from your ultimate manifestation. This would be a good opportunity for you to think about any repeating patterns that you have within relationships, and with the most focus on how are you perpetuating those patterns. And that's going to be a challenging thing to think about, especially if it's hard for us to admit maybe we're part of the problem, right? But when I see the Page of Wands and the 4 of Wands, the issues that you've had in the past, there definitely has to be an element of taking responsibility for your part of it. And then the other part of it is learning how to not depend on our partner for everything. Learning how to take space and deal with some stuff on our own. If we wake up on the wrong side of the bed and we're having like a super crappy day, literally the worst thing we could do is dump that on our partner. Say, I feel like crap, you need to help me with this. That's going to be too much for your partner, right? Especially if it happens on a regular basis. When I see the Four of Wands here, that tells me that periodically you have these waves of intense like fire energy come through you. The best possible path for you to balance out any of these potentially sabotaging behaviors is keep yourself physically active. If you feel overwhelming energy inside of you, use it to be creative, use it to be productive. Don't dump your fire on your partner, right? There's an element of you having to sort that out on your own so that when you come to the table within a relationship, you're ready to be equanimical. That means balancing the heart and the mind. You're ready to work and support and achieve balance and harmony. That has to be your number one goal. The King of Cups here at the very end tells me that you might struggle to articulate your emotions and your inner process with a partner. Maybe you didn't have a really good example growing up. Maybe your caregivers did not hold space for emotions. Maybe your personal astrology, like if you have a moon in Capricorn or moon in Aquarius, you might have kind of like a core challenge around expressing your emotions or your inner process. The King of Cups shows up when somebody has learned over time, it is not safe to share my emotions, therefore I'm going to keep them to myself. But then when we don't have a healthy way of dealing with our emotions, we stuff them, and then eventually hit a point where we just explode. Again, I get a sense like you don't want to explode on your partner. You also don't want to hide your emotions. The crows are being so loud. I really hope that's not bothering you guys. The King of Cups indicates self-isolation, and it indicates a huge well of emotions. So this showing up as a potential form of self-sabotage indicates that you need to establish healthy lines of communication as early as possible in your relationship and express your emotions or your inner process as early as possible within that experience before you hit your breaking point and just puke or explode your emotions all over whoever's in your space, right? So that's the only thing that I see as far as potentially sabotaging, that you have a really clear image in your mind of who you'd like to be and what kind of relationship you'd like to be in. But the details as far as working, you need to work on your triggers, and you need to work on healthy, effective communication when it comes to your emotions, your inner process, and any intensity that you feel or experience. And again, working on those things alone is really, really important so that you're not depending on your partner for everything. So the final cards that we have for you guys today are the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And what we're going to be looking at is what's coming up next. What is in the next chapter for you? Woo! For love and relationships. Spirit team, please tap me into my pile number 2s, the pile that chose the Raw Garnet. What is coming up next for them in the realm of love and relationships? What is coming up for my pile number 2s in the realm of love and relationships? What is coming up for my pile number 2s in the realm of love and relationships? Okay. Awesome. I see you actually manifesting and being in what feels like the ultimate relationship. At the bottom of the deck here, I have the 10 of Cups, which is like the rainbow after the storm. And in this picture, we have a couple and a couple kids, and they're all dancing underneath this rainbow, like everything is right in the world. This card represents lasting happiness. So I do see that that is what you're going to manifest. But the path to get you there is really interesting. Let's walk through this together. So the first card I have is the Magician. Again, I get a really strong indication that some of you guys have been doing spell work or manifestation work to bring into your life the relationship, the love that you've been craving and that you've been longing for. The thing about the Magician card is it is a single-minded focus. It says, I am, I want, I have, this is what I want to do, right? And from that place and the energy that you're approaching this situation, Six of Wands suggests victory and success. But there's also this slight little whisper from your guides and angels. Make sure that you're really, really conscious of the energy that you bring to the situation. Make sure that as much as you hold high standards for other people, you're also holding yourself to those exact same standards. Now in the middle here, I see a bit of a conflict tied into a healing opportunity. The Eight of Swords here comes up 9 times out of 10 when somebody has been in an abusive relationship in the past, or they're stuck in a mental prison, and sometimes the mental prison that we end up stuck in is because we've been in an abusive relationship in the past, and then the words or the behavior of that abusive person then becomes our inner dialogue. So the Eight of Swords is stuck in a mental prison, walking on eggshells, being afraid to speak, being afraid to share, keeping things to ourselves and almost kind of freezing up because we don't want to incur any more harm, or we don't want to bother anybody else. And the reason I said that there's a potential conflict as well as a healing opportunity is because it's paired with the Six of Cups, which is feeling emotionally safe with someone. So this would tell me that you've had negative experiences in the past, and the relationship that you're in the middle of manifesting, the relationship that's coming for you very, very soon, is going to trigger an old wound. And you can do this one of two ways. Like the King of Cups, you can keep all your feelings and your thoughts to yourself, and that's going to be self-sabotage that we saw in that other part of the reading. Or you can trust that this person that you brought into your life is actually going to treat your heart and your emotions and your experience with white gloves. They're going to be respectful. They're going to hold space for you with compassion and really, really good listening skills. And they're going to give you an opportunity to learn that they're different. They're not like the abusive people that you've been with in the past, or the toxic or stuck in drama people. This person really is different. This person that you're bringing into your life, absolutely your manifestation, absolutely leveling up, and absolutely a completely different kind of person than you ever dated before. And so the hard part for you in your next chapter in love and relationships is going to be trusting the peace. And it's gonna be a learning and growing experience for you to put all of your healing into practice and to learn how to talk about how you're feeling, to learn and practice expressing your emotions, even if they're not fun. Any kind of helpful like way of phrasing things, like when you said the thing, it triggered me because I've had that thing said to me in the past, and it immediately made me shut down, feel unworthy, feel like I was going to be judged, right? The more that you can learn to articulate your experience in a way that is not accusatory and just saying, hey, whoa, this happened and this is what I'm feeling, let's work this out. Do you mind clarifying, right? Again, I really feel like counseling is going to be amazingly helpful for you. If it's something that you've done in the past, if it's not something you've ever done, it's definitely something to consider. But the other side of that is that counseling is ridiculously expensive. So if you can't afford that, totally understand. Not many people can. The other side of that would be doing journaling, doing shadow work, doing any kind of work that centers around your triggers, that centers around communication is the big thing, and creating and maintaining safety within a relationship. So I do see you being triggered. I do see you having the opportunity to work on things, but I see it going really, really well. Provided you walk your highest path and put your healing into practice. And then the other side of that is I see you feeling reborn. I see you feeling like a kid again. The Sun card represents following the light, absolute bliss and joy, and a new momentum in your life that is aligned with spirit and aligned with your highest path, represented by the white horse. And then, like I said, the baby here represents new beginnings and feeling like you're youthful again, or feeling like that youthful joy and exuberance has returned to your heart and to your spirit. This is a really awesome card, you guys. It's a really, really awesome card. And then in the final card here, we have the Page of Pentacles, which is just all about being here now, enjoying the moment, soaking up the sunshine, and seeing where things go. So I definitely see you guys absolutely on the right path. The next chapter for you is going to be an incredibly beautiful relationship that is full of opportunities to heal, but it's not just going to be handed to you. You are going to have to work at it. You're going to have to stretch in ways that might feel uncomfortable when it comes to the realm of communicating your feelings, communicating your perspective, your headspace, and just being really open and honest with your partner, because that's what's going to cultivate an environment of healing and real love. So I'm so excited for you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Make sure to give a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to my channel so you're updated with all my future videos. And you can book a private reading with me from anywhere in the world at www.queenbeetarot.net. Bye, you guys. Have a wonderful day. Hi, Pile Threes. You guys chose the quartz crystal. This is really neat. I didn't want to hype up the crystal too much in the very beginning because I felt like that might alter people's choice. But I wish I could show you this. I don't know how well you can see it. It's this really cool quartz that's actually two pieces of quartz together. Completely natural, came from the ground like that. Actually, there's a third little piece sticking out. It reminds me of a little quartz family. Really cute. Thanks for being here. Welcome to your reading. We're taking a look at love and relationships. Before we get to the part where we look at what's coming up next for you guys, we're going to kind of set the framework, set the foundation by looking at where you're at right now and what you're hoping to manifest. So where you're at right now, we're using the Osho Zen deck. Oh, we have rebirth. This is really cool. Pictured here is a child playing a flute. There is also a lion and a camel here. You've been in it for the long haul, represented by the camel, and you've learned to be self-sufficient, meeting your own needs, healing your heart, tuning into spirit, even if metaphorically you've been surrounded by a desert. All the growth, all the healing, everything that you've been doing is paying off in spades, and it's a very internal process. It's something that most people wouldn't even know about you because you're a grower, you're not a shower. It's happening on the inside, right? The lion here and the child playing the flute indicates that you have worked really hard at healing yourself from a perspective of self-mastery. We achieve self-mastery when we are able to be brutally honest with ourselves about not just our gifts and our talents and what we bring to the table, but also what are our triggers? What are our weak spots? What are the points in which we show maybe the not so great sides of ourselves, right? So from a place of self-mastery, I see you absolutely in a prime position to attract to yourself not only a really healthy and happy relationship, but also positive work situations, positive life situations all around. This is a really strong, really healthy card. And when I asked about what you're hoping to manifest, we have patience and planning. Number 7. So the 7, and I believe it's the 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, patience and planning is 7 of Pentacles. This deck always throws me off because the Pentacles, Earth, has a red exterior. Anyway, my OCD is like, patience and planning tells me that you're hoping for a long-term healthy relationship. You're not a dater. You don't want to go on Tinder. You don't want a one-night stand. That's not your jam, right? You want to know that all the effort that you've put into yourself and walking your highest path is going to be complemented by a partner who has done their own work and is currently walking their highest path. And then together, you guys can build a life together, which is really funny because, like I was saying, this is a double quartz, 2 pieces of quartz with a tiny little one across. And I was thinking it's like a perfect little quartz family. And that's what I see from you guys. You've really worked hard to be where you're at. And what you're hoping for is that health and that sustainable growth to continue moving forwards. Super cool. So we're going to take a look at what you're doing that's supporting your highest path, what you're doing that is helping you manifest this ultimate goal as far as love and relationships. We're using the Golden Art Nouveau deck. So Spirit Team, please tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s. What are they doing that is helping them manifest their highest goals when it comes to love and relationships? This one too? Okay. Okay. Oh, this one we got. Okay, cool. What I have here for you guys is the Hanged Man, which is actually a reference to Odin hanging from the tree of Yggdrasil in Nordic mythology. And the story is of him essentially, and I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially achieving enlightenment. And when we see the Hanged Man come up, it's an indication that we are ready and we know how to surrender to divine timing, surrender to divine flow. And even if we're not super excited about where we're at in the moment, we know that every moment, every day, every year is a learning opportunity. And we can always shift our perspective. He's upside down and he's got this like halo around his head. Sometimes just by shifting our perspective, we can see things from another perspective and see the reason that we're stuck, or see the message that spirit or universe was trying to give us in the moment. It also represents kind of being in it for the long haul as well. The Hierophant here tells me that on a huge level, you want to make it official, not just maybe in the eyes of the law, but then in the eyes of God. You want something that is a spiritual, healthy, heart-centered, mentally healthy relationship. You want to make it official. You want to get married. You want to do all the things, right? And you want to have a future with someone. You want that long-term commitment. The Nine of Cups tells me that you have done absolutely the most amazing work at filling your own cup, being emotionally self-sufficient. You've reached a place of self-satisfaction and fulfillment in your life, with yourself, with your heart, with your spirit, with everything that's going on. Doesn't necessarily mean that life is perfect, but you're in a really emotionally healthy place and you know how to meet your own needs without depending on someone else to heal you or fix you or sort your problems out, right? There's definitely emotional maturity implied here. And again, with the King of Cups, emotional maturity is implied, that you're not just going to puke your feelings out onto the table in front of other people. You very carefully choose when and where you share what you're feeling. And you share what you're feeling with awareness, with a willingness to change, a willingness to learn from whatever's happening, right? I really feel you as being emotionally mature. And I feel you as being absolutely ready and committed to being in a relationship for the long haul. You know about, you know what it takes to work on something for a long time. You're willing to put in that hard work, and all of those things are definitely working to your benefit. So keep it up. Positive, positive stuff, you guys. From the Revelations Tarot, we're going to be looking at this deck that is all about reversals. And we're going to be looking at this deck today to look at how you might possibly, potentially be sabotaging your efforts. So Spirit Team, please tap us into the collective of our pile number 3s. On the topic of love and relationships, is there anything that they do that potentially sabotages their efforts? Pile number 3s, anything that's sabotaging their efforts. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands, which is telling me that you love having fun. Maybe you love flirting, that sort of thing. You're kind of just like I'm going to have fun here. I'm going to have fun here. I'm going to have fun here. You're like a butterfly, just going around doing your thing. You know what I mean? Ace of Pentacles here tells me that you are so healthy and so complete on your own. I wouldn't see this as necessarily being sabotage, but I definitely feel that you're not desperate. You're not chasing. You know, when love comes into your life, you'll be ready for it. And in the meantime, you're like, cool, whatever, I got a life to live. So I wouldn't see that as sabotage. I see that you have almost been reborn, and that topic has come up a lot in the cards that I pulled here. Even the first card that we pulled for you, rebirth. At the bottom of the deck for the last set of cards was the Judgment card, being reborn. Here, Ace of Pentacles. You're in either a new job or a new location or a new home. Maybe you've got a new due. Maybe you've got a new professional role. You're a whole new person, right? And Six of Wands tells me that the energy you're approaching the situation with might be an energetic reflection of who you used to be. So this would tell me that the only way in which you're self-sabotaging, according to these cards, is maybe not even realizing how much you've leveled up. Because the more that you level up, you need to raise your standards accordingly. If you level up, but then you keep looking for the same sort of person and the same sort of partner, that energy is going to drag you down, and you're going to have to work hard to get back up again. So I hope that makes sense. Having a bit of a self-assessment, you know, be honest with yourself as far as what do you bring to the table and how can you potentially raise your standards as compared to where they used to be in the past, right? Over here, we've got the King of Swords, which represents being a wee bit closed-minded. I'm always going to be honest with you guys, but I'll deliver it with compassion. Four of Pentacles is fear of loss, but being in a really healthy place. And the Two of Wands is about that desire to kind of pass some fire back and forth, you know what I mean? So you have worked really hard to be where you're at. Absolutely. Very, very clear. You are healthy. You are financially stable. Not necessarily rich, but you're self-sufficient. You know what I mean? You're in a really healthy place. And there's a part of you that kind of closes the door if somebody isn't perfect for you, because you're like, well, I'm not going to risk it. I honestly like seeing that, because my suggestion to you a minute ago was make sure your standards are high, right? But then we have an indication that your standards might be a wee bit too high. So you're going to find that kind of sweet spot, that like Goldilocks zone, right? What I see here is that even though you might have preconceived notions as far as what you're hoping for, maybe expectations, maybe you've set out some rules for yourself. If the person I connect with does this or says this, that's a hard no, right? Well, make sure to have a green flag list as well. I'm really glad that you can recognize red flags. That's huge. That's progress, right? how about also creating a green flag list? That if somebody says this or does this, that's a, hey, whoa, okay. I see that you're actually healed and mature and expressing a high level of awareness. So as much as you have a red flag list, make a green flag list as well. And I'm being shown at the end that you are energetically drawn to a particular kind of person. And so any kind of reflections that you can realize or really embrace at this time, who is your type? And is your type in your highest path right now? As far as your type, are there maybe two expressions of that? Say you're drawn to really confident, charismatic people. Well, there's two types of that. There's the confident, charismatic that's a psychopathic narcissist, and there's the confident and charismatic that comes from being humble and healed, right? So think about your type and think about how you can recognize not just red flags, but also green flags. And from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck today, we're going to be taking a look at what is coming next. What is in your future when it comes to love and relationships. I'm so excited for you guys. Spirit team, please tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s. What is next for them in the realm of love and relationships? What's coming up for my pile number 3s, the quartz crystal pile, for love and relationships? Okay. Awesome. I'm being told you're going to be surprised by love when you least expect it. There's a part of you that feels kind of conflicted. You've been doing the work, you've been healing, you've been growing, and you're pretty clear on what it is that you want and what it is that you're hoping to manifest. But there's so many times that you're like, nope, 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 nope. Wow, I feel like crawling back into my hole again. You know what I mean? I definitely feel this energy of you like, you know what you want, but whoa, when you look at humanity today, you're like, oh my God, no, right? So to start off your future, the most immediate in your future is a sense that you're like, hard no, absolutely not. Maybe it's an unsuccessful date that you go on. Maybe somebody recommends somebody to you and you spend a couple of hours with them and you're like, whoa, absolutely not, right? I see you experiencing some sort of disagreement, conflict, disappointment, where you spend time with someone and you're like, oh my God. And you almost consider for a second, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this, right? But you keep trying, and thank God you keep trying, because here's what I see. I see you meeting someone and instantly having this feeling of like, wow, I feel so safe. I feel so peaceful. I feel so comfortable with you. It feels like I've known you forever. Have we met before? Like one of those moments where you just feel inexplicably drawn to somebody and profoundly safe. Like, you know how when you're younger, we experience butterflies around our crush or whatever, and we kind of get it in our heads that butterflies mean a good thing. I'm gonna tell you guys, butterflies are actually a red flag. Because when we're in the company of someone that's actually good for us, we feel calm, we feel safe, we feel peaceful. So if you're around somebody and you experience all these like butterflies or a sense of tension or a sense of anxiety, that's a huge, huge red flag that that's not somebody who's good for you. Please don't waste your time trying to label it, categorize it, or find a name for it. If you feel that conflict or that stress or that like sense of discomfort, turn your back on it. Don't even bother explaining. You don't have to come up with an explanation. Your heart and your spirit always knows what's best for you. So that's what I see. I see some sort of situation where you're like, oh, no. And then all of a sudden, when you're least expecting it, I feel you out and about. I feel you like going about your life doing something. Maybe you're at the store. Maybe you go to a florist. Maybe you're just like out running errands. And all of a sudden, you run into somebody and it's like, oh, where have you been all my life? The most amazing connection totally spontaneous, totally serendipitous, and the kind of thing where you feel this instant sense of peace and calm, and your heart almost leaps out of your chest like, wow. You have this sense of like, this is like completely unlike anybody you've ever met, maybe completely unlike anybody you've ever dated before. Really, really, really good vibes. Somebody who has these bright, welcoming eyes. Maybe they're just really open-hearted and you can feel that they're heart-centered. Really beautiful energy. Then it becomes a personal connection in which you guys share some fire and have some really good time. But then what I see is that afterwards, maybe they don't call. Maybe there's a moment of the day after being, what have I done? Oh my God, I threw caution to the wind. I had a romantic interlude with somebody that I literally just met. Was that a good idea? Where is this going? What have I done? Because what I see happening is that you feel so safe with this person that maybe you throw some of your dating rules out the window, like not sleeping with someone on the first date or second date or whatever your rules are. I see you kind of throwing caution to the wind because you feel it, right? And then the aftermath, like the next day, you're like, what have I done, right? I've got hope. I've got good news, you guys. The next day, maybe they take a couple extra hours to write you back. Maybe they don't text you the next day or something like that. So you're going to have a moment in which your fears, your anxieties, all those things get stirred up in you. Journal it. Don't get sucked into it. Observe it and go, wow, okay, I can feel myself getting really, really triggered right now. Journal it, paint about it, sing about it, talk to a friend about it, because within a day or two, they're going to call back and say, holy smokes, I had the most amazing time. You are unlike anybody I've ever met. Can we get together again? I see shared joy. Also, when I see the 3 of Cups here, it makes me think about how there's 3 tiny crystals right here. So I see a really, really positive outcome for you guys. I am going to be honest. I see a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but I'm glad that I have the opportunity to prepare you so that you don't panic, so that you don't block that person in a moment of being like, what have I done? I see this person ending up being amazing for you. I see you guys sharing joy in the future and potentially making a family if that's what is in your path. If that's not something that you want, don't even worry about it. Absolutely. But if that is something that you want, that's what I see with the 3 of Cups. I see shared joy. I see potentially, if you want, a family being started. This is absolutely amazing. Really, really good news. I'm so happy for you guys. So remember, it is just as useful to have a list of red flags as it is to have a list of green flags, okay? Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed your reading. Make sure to give a like, a thumbs up if you liked your reading, subscribe for all my future videos, and you can book a private reading with me from anywhere in the world on my website at www.queenbeetarot.net. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Mwah! All the best. Hi, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading. You guys chose the Lapis Lazuli stone, and today we're going to be looking at love and relationships. Sorry, my crow family is hanging out really, really close. I hope the noise doesn't bother you guys. When they get loud, I will pause just to make sure you guys can hear what I'm saying. This is the joys of recording outside. You guys, that's enough. Okay, so welcome to your reading, Lapis Lazuli pile. We are looking at love and relationships. We will be getting to the part where we ask what is in your future, but first we're going to look at where are you at right now and what is it that you're hoping to manifest. So as far as where you're at right now, we're using the Osho Zen deck, and we have a card that says mind. In this picture, we see kind of like a discombobulated human face, and they have a bunch of like gears and machinery inside of their head, and then there's all these little extensions of these little brick pillars, these little brick walls coming out of their head. When I see the mind card, that tells me that you're really stuck in your head, and there's a lot of stuff happening for you that is causing you to be shut off. That maybe it's self-preservation. Maybe you're really, really struggling with your mental health right now. But the mind card comes up when you've got a lot of brick walls around you. There's a lot going on. And it tells me that whatever unhealthy energy that's happening for you in your headspace, in your spirit, it feels like it's been there for a while. And it's not something that just appeared out of nowhere. It's been a long time coming. We don't start establishing brick walls around us in our lives if we don't have reason to do so. So whatever it is that you're going through and that you have gone through that made you set up these brick walls, if that's what makes you feel safe, I get it. I totally get it. But it's not a very happy place to be right now, right? When I asked what you're hoping to manifest, what you're longing for to bring into your life, we have the transformation card, which is interesting. It's number 13. I'm gonna take off my sweater. It's actually getting really hot. So the transformation card is number 13, which in the traditional tarot is the death card. And it doesn't mean literal death. Like this card said, it means transformation. We have a woman pictured here, and she has butterfly wings. And I feel like that's the perfect metaphor, because when we go through a period of transformation, it feels like we're dying. It really does feel like we're dying. Just like a caterpillar sets up a cocoon to turn into a butterfly. Well, in that cocoon, the caterpillar dissolves into goo, and their entire body, their entire form is reshaped and remade before they're born into the butterfly and they come out of the cocoon. So if you're feeling like a mushy pile of goo right now, I just want to send you the hugest hugs in the whole wide world. That this transformation period you're going through is not easy. It is not easy at all. And I honestly don't even feel like you necessarily want, or maybe you're not ready for a relationship. If you're currently in a relationship right now, this would tell me that you're miserable. You're absolutely miserable. If you're not in a relationship, then this tells me that there's still some healing work that needs to be done before you manifest a relationship. Again, my heart goes out to you guys. This is a really challenging energy to come through. So what we're going to ask the Golden Art Nouveau deck today is, what are you doing in your life, in yourself, that is bringing you to where you want to be? What are you doing that's healthy choices, healthy action, healthy energy, healthy behavior that is helping you manifest the love or the relationships that you need in your life right now? What are you doing that your guides are like, keep it up, keep it up? Oh gosh. Okay. Thinking about how to how do I translate this? There's some heavy shit coming through, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. The majority of you, I guess I can't say the majority of you. A lot of you, I'm feeling, a lot of you that picked this pile are currently in a relationship and it sucks. And I want to be able to validate for you that you're not too sensitive, You're not making a big deal out of things. You're not imagining things. It really actually sucks, and it's not healthy, and it's not in your highest good. I'm going to walk you through this. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Wands, and it's always a picture of children playing with sticks. Anybody who has kids or has babysat kids, sure, it could start off fun, and in like 30 seconds flat, it could go horribly sideways and go from playing to fighting. So the Five of Wands energy, especially when it comes to the context of love and relationships, indicates that it's a fuck or fight kind of energy. And I'm sorry to use some profanity here, but I feel like you just need to hear it straight, right? There's definitely passion. When it's good, it's great. But when it's bad, it is so bad. Like, whoa. And maybe you don't know any better. Maybe your caregivers did not set a healthy example of what love or relationships should look like. Maybe this is the first time you've had a really challenging, toxic roller coaster relationship. So whether this is new to you or whether this is all you've ever known, this is intolerable. I'm not going to lie. So I see two huge reflections with the Five of Cups and the Eight of Cups that your heart isn't in it. You've been disappointed for quite some time. I can feel that you've been trying to look on the bright side. Maybe your partner has been telling you that it's all your fault. Maybe your partner has been telling you that you're overreacting or you're too sensitive. And I feel you having been disappointed and not stoked about this relationship for like a really long time, but you stuck it out. You kept trying to fix things. You kept maybe trying to fix yourself. Maybe you're trying to fix your partner. You're over it. Your heart left this relationship a long time ago, but your body is still there. For those of you that chose this pile and you're not currently in a relationship, then what I believe I'm seeing is a reflection of what you just went through. And I'm so sorry about my dogs barking. First it was the crows, now it's the dogs. Okay, thanks for bearing with me, you guys. So right here I have the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords. Now the Page of Cups tells me that this is triggering something in you that relates to your inner child. Maybe this situation is making you feel like you're a child and you don't know what to do with it. Maybe this is bringing up for you feelings that you've experienced since you were a child, of being perhaps abused, invalidated. Maybe when you were growing up, your caregivers either hated each other or really didn't like each other, but they stuck with each other for the family or for the kids. It's an old school tradition in which nobody ends up happy. So definitely I get a sense that your inner child is hugely triggered right now. And the Knight of Swords tells me that you're panicking. Inside of your head, you want to run, you want to escape, you want to change your name and move to Mexico. You want out. But if you've been raised to tolerate abuse or tolerate discomfort, tolerate toxic behavior or drama, like if you've been raised to think that this is either normal or maybe only as an adult, maybe you've only had these relationships, this kind of energy, I definitely get a sense that you're talking yourself out of leaving. And maybe it's not you talking yourself out of leaving. I'm gonna wait for the dogs again, I'm really sorry. Okay, maybe they're done. I feel you talking yourself out of leaving, or maybe it's your partner talking you out of leaving. But the fact that you're miserable needs to be paid attention to. I see that your heart has left a long time ago. Now your mind wants to leave. If you're stuck, if you feel like you can't leave, if there's abuse happening and you're afraid to leave, feel free to contact me privately. But I do know that pretty much no matter where you are, there should be, hopefully, a women's center, violence or crisis line. there are supports out there if you need help leaving and if you don't feel safe leaving. I am a safe person to talk to if you want, but I don't know what resources are available in your area. I'm sure Google could tell you, but if you're this miserable, please leave. It is not your fault. It is not something that you can fix. It is something that is totally and completely destroying your life force. What I see here is we've got the Tower card, we've got the King of Pentacles, and we've got the Queen of Cups. There is a concern of emotional health and emotional boundaries. Your intuition is screaming at you to leave. And again, for whatever reason, if it's pre-programming or if it's a very controlling situation, I feel that you're almost afraid to break up with this person. The Tower card is breakups, breakdowns, sometimes trauma and crisis, but basically it's tearing down to the ground anything that is unhealthy, unhelpful, or definitely not going to work out for long term, right? And then the Queen of Cups is all about validate your feelings. Your feelings matter. Your feelings are real. You are not too sensitive. You are not imagining things. You're not making a big deal out of things. You're suffering, and you have a right to set a boundary and empower yourself and walk away. So please, please, please save yourself. Please. This is not okay. So now I understand the Death card and transformation. Now I understand why you're stuck in your head and so miserable. This relationship is never going to get better. The only way that your life is going to get better is if you create healthy space and get out of this situation ASAP. When I see the King of Pentacles as well, I see that there is a theme or an issue with someone either being controlling over resources and money, by either withholding finances or telling you that you owe them now because they pay for you to live there, or they pay for your food, or maybe they paid for your college and now you feel like indebted to them. It feels like money and resources are being used to control you and entrap you. It's also an indication that drugs or alcohol is potentially an issue. Not gonna lie, this is bad. This is really bad. So the way I see you self-sabotaging is by staying. Everything is saying, run as far and as fast as you can. And for whatever reason, I see you staying. So I do have to just suggest, as long, just to make sure I'm covering all my bases, if you're the one that has a drug or alcohol abuse problem, please seek help. If you're the one who is potentially creating a toxic or an unhealthy situation, that's definitely something to look at. But I gotta be honest, guys, I really don't feel like you're the issue. If you are, work with that. But really, guys, I feel like the people who chose this pile are miserable and you're suffering and you need an exit door ASAP. So let's take a look. This wasn't the sabotage pile. This was the what are you doing to manifest your highest relationship and the love in your life. Oh my goodness, I got ahead of myself. Okay, so that would mean that you deciding to leave, you deciding that this situation is toxic and not in your highest good and saying peace out, that is going to bring you to the healthy relationship that you want. Sticking with this mess that you're in, not going to bring you to the highest place that you want, right? But for you to decide that you're worth more, that you deserve to be happy, that you deserve to be healthy, that you deserve to be treated with respect, as soon as you set that emotional boundary and you say, F this, I am not doing this anymore, that is going to open the door to you having the ultimate love and relationship in your life. So sorry about confusing the decks there. I just looked at that and went, holy smokes, right? Okay, this deck, the Revelations deck, is going to be looking at how you may be potentially sabotaging your efforts and your desires for love and a healthy relationship. So Spirit Team, please tap us into our pile number 4s, the Lapis Lazuli pile. Is there anything they're doing to sabotage their relationships? Okay. We have a lot of kings here, indicating, just like in the other reading, that I feel you being overpowered. I feel you not entirely having a voice, or maybe your voice is drowned out by the voice of somebody else. At the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Swords, which is telling me that somebody in your life is closed-minded, very opinionated, and always right. Yeah, right. Whoever this person is that is very opinionated and very closed-minded, they are most definitely not always right. Here I have the 3 of Pentacles, which is working together. The 5 of Swords, which is being stuck in a loop inside of your head, including bad habits or bad coping mechanisms. The King of Wands. This card is associated with someone who is potentially like a narcissist or a narcissistic psychopath. Somebody who presents on the exterior to be such a nice person, but behind closed doors, things are entirely different. They may be fooling other people. They're not fooling you, and they're not fooling me. And the Hierophant, which represents authority figures, but also the institution of marriage. Okay. If the person in your life that is creating this miserable situation, if they are like I just described, that everybody's like, oh, they're such a nice person, and you're like, oh my God, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Like, if that fits the description of what you're enduring, please go on Google and look up the different types of abuse, including narcissists. Okay. 5 of Swords tells me that every time you try and talk about this with your partner, you just go around in a loop. Nothing ends up resolved, and 9 times, maybe 10 times out of 10, you are told that it's all your fault. I don't see conversations being productive. In fact, I feel you being defeated and frustrated and lost. Like, I feel you just being absolutely miserable and lost. You are a healthy individual who doesn't mind hard work, and you don't mind working on yourself or on the relationship. And I see you coming into this with pure intentions, like, well, maybe I can make it work, or maybe we can go to counseling, or maybe there's something about me that's making this hard. No, this is a very unhealthy, toxic situation. I feel like you've tried to make this work for quite some time, but if you're the only person working on this and the other person keeps pointing at you and saying you should do more work, it's still all your fault. That is not a healthy or balanced relationship, right? Call a local crisis line. Call a local, like, around here we have like a crisis line or emergency counseling, stuff like that. I know legit counseling is really, really expensive and not something most people can afford, but I'm definitely feeling like you need an outside perspective. If I'm the only outside perspective you have, I am telling you to run far, far away as fast as you can. I see you sabotaging your own life, your own happiness, because potentially you're married to this person. Perhaps you feel stuck. Perhaps you feel like you're going to be judged for leaving. Maybe for religious or cultural reasons, you feel like you're not allowed to leave, that you have to be married to this person. There's an element of having to save your life. If you don't choose self-preservation, I see you shrinking and essentially kind of disappearing, becoming a shell of who you used to be. I don't see this being a healthy situation at all. And it's not about saying the right thing to get them to understand you. It's not about convincing them of your perspective. I feel like this person is genuinely controlling you, and nothing you say is ever going to convince them of your perspective. Does that make sense? It's not about you doing better. It's that this is genuinely unhealthy. So if you're stopping yourself from leaving because you're like, well, I'm married, or well, I have to stay, or everybody will judge me, or any of those excuses that you give, that is self-sabotaging your health, your happiness, and your potential for real love in the future. Whew, heavy stuff. Big, 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 huge, huge hugs to you guys. Let's ask the Rider-Waite-Smith deck what's coming next. What is the next chapter coming for you in the realm of love and relationships? Spirit team. Okay. Spirit team, please tap us into our pile number 4s that shows the Lapis Lazuli. What is coming next for them in the realm of love and relationships? What is coming next for our Lapis Lazuli crew? Left? Okay. What is coming next for love and relationships? Oh, they're telling me to put this down. Okay. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Swords. This is the heartbreak card. But interestingly, it is not in the suit of Cups, which would be emotions. It's actually in the suit of Swords, which is our intellect, our perspective, our headspace, our communication. You've been heartbroken for quite some time, and there is a path opening up for you that is going to be healing. You're going to create your own, you have the possibility of creating your own life, stabilizing your health, stabilizing your finances, healing, growing. But what is required is that you empower yourself. You have to channel your fire. You have to say, this is not okay. I am leaving. And I know that is far easier said than done. I'm not going to lie. What I see happening is a dynamic in which you finally confront your abuser. And just like the Ace of Wands here, I see you represented by the Queen of Wands. It does not have to be heteronormative. What we're seeing with queens and kings is different levels of mastery. A king represents mastery of a particular element that is kind of overpowering, and a queen represents mastery of an element that is more receptive and a little bit more gentle, but still mastery. I see you stepping into Queen of Wands energy, which is not overpowering, but it's claiming your space, claiming your power, and reclaiming your life. This is your life. If you are miserable, you can say, F this effing shit. I'm out of here. I'm not happy, because you have a right to leave. You have a right to be happy. You deserve to be happy. You have a beautiful heart, and you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be treated with respect and with love. So I see you claiming your power and claiming your space. And I see this person in your life still not hearing you, still not listening, and quite possibly still trying to control you. Maybe you go to break up with them and they say something really, really horrible that puts you back into this place of, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I'm wrong. I see them not letting you go easy. So again, please, if you need help from authorities or from a women's shelter, reach out for help. There are people out there that can help you to leave if it's not safe for you to leave on your own. But that is the first thing I see in your future. I see you reclaiming your power. 100%. Guess what happens after that? Bum, bum, bum. We have the 10 of Cups, which is lasting happiness, but it's also the rainbow after the storm. I know from experience that deciding to end or leave any toxic situation, the decision-making process is literally the hardest. But once we make that decision, once we walk out the door, once we claim our space and claim our power and reclaim our lives, it's like the rainbow after the storm. Absolutely beautiful. I feel you having immense relief and going, oh my God, I feel so much better. Why didn't I do this earlier? Whatever, you're doing it now, and that's what's important. After that, then I see 6 of Wands, which is victory, success, and moving in a really positive direction. And from a place of having empowered yourself, he's riding on a horse, which implies movement, healthy movement, because the horse has a green robe on. I see you moving in a really, really healthy and harmonious direction, and empowering yourself to really, really, really pay attention to the energy that you possess and the energy around you. I see you continuing the momentum of leaving anything that makes you feel like garbage and only going where you're welcomed and where you're celebrated, as pictured in this card. Then after that, I do see that healing need to continue. I would not recommend jumping into another relationship. What I see unfolding for you is a really important opportunity to reclaim your life. And that's kind of where the cards end. Is that the next phase after reclaiming your life, it's going to feel amazing, but there's going to be some healing work required, okay? I'm not going to lie. The Eight of Swords comes up every time when somebody's in an abusive situation. And even after you leave an abusive situation, often what happens is that your abuser's voice, everything they used to say to you, everything they used to do to you, ends up being stuck in your head. And sometimes that becomes a really negative inner dialogue. Five of Swords, again, being stuck in a loop inside of your head. Maybe they reach out. Maybe they try and get you to come back. Maybe they continue to try and manipulate you with their words. I see you needing to do some serious healing work, right? And the reason... Well, I was going to say the reason the cards end there is because that's kind of where my guide said, like, the direction you go after this is entirely up to you. But let's go ahead and ask. Okay. And what's the positive expression of that? Okay. So, yeah, Ace of Wands and Wheel of Fortune. Okay. My guides are being really, really clear that they can't really tell us what happens after this because it depends entirely on where you go with your healing journey. If you don't heal, I can see you getting stuck back into a relationship that is pretty much exactly the same. So that's going to really require of you that you heal your inner child, or you heal whatever part of you held space for abuse. And sometimes it's because it's been normalized for us. Sometimes it's because we don't have healthy relationships to compare it to. We never saw a good example of a healthy relationship. Counseling, therapy, any kind of healing journey. But my highest advice to you is please do not jump into another relationship after you leave this one. That the best thing you can possibly do for your well-being and for your future is to heal. Heal, heal, heal. So that's what I see as the most positive outcome of this, is you regaining stability in your life, financial stability, you reclaim your health, and you really close your circle, and you really kind of hunker down in your own personal space to reclaim that peace of mind, to refill your cup, to heal from everything that you've gone through, right? So if you don't really, really embrace healing, you're going to repeat the same patterns with somebody else. But that's a story for another time, right? Your future looks pretty guaranteed. I see you putting your foot down and reclaiming your power and reclaiming your life. And that is going to lead to a beautiful, amazing future. Yes, there's healing required, but when is there not, right? You can do it. You can do it. You can heal. You can grow. Your life can be so, so, so much better. So please choose you, okay? Choose you. Choose your health. Choose your happiness. You're worth it. 1,000% you're worth it. I hope that helped. I hope that resonated. If you liked your reading, give a thumbs up, subscribe for all my future videos, and you can book a private reading with me on my website from anywhere in the world. My website is www.queenbeetarot.net. I send you so much love, and I send you strength. I send you courage. You can do it. Mwah! Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, you guys.